Hey guys, I'm RC Panzer and this is Build Wars. Today we're talking about the Balthazar Engineer for PvP. We'll be going over skills, utilities, traits, gear, some math, and gameplay. Enjoy! Alright, Balthazar Engineer. This is a utility SPVP build centered around assaulting mid and far point and using conditions to wear down the bunkers that defend them. This build, as most NG builds do in SPVP, features good healing on a short cooldown and a bunch of ways to keep enemies off of you. For weapon choice, I go with dual pistols for the fantastic condition cover abilities. Bleeding on 1, Poison on 2, Confuse Blind on 3 that's stronger than a team fight, a Burn on 4, Immobilize and Cripple on 5. For maximum kiting effectiveness, I use the 5 skill in front of me to slow attackers down, directly on them if you can get it to get the Immobilize, and then use the 2 and 4 skills, Poison, Dart Volley, and Blowtorch, while they're immobilized, then drop the 3 skill last for a blind. This ensures that they'll have the maximum amount of time for conditions to tick before they reach you and start swinging. For utilities, Healing Turret is, in my opinion, one of the most broken healing spells in the game, and every engineer should run it. A little bit of burst healing, mine says 2500, regen, and a water field with a built-in blast finisher for a huge pile of health and a little bit of damage. Combo that with Big Ol' Bomb for bonus healing on the water field. Our first utility skill is Elixir S, which gives immunity to all incoming effects for 3 seconds. This is a great skill for escaping a stunlock or to help you stomp. It also gives a tool belt skill, Toss Elixir S, which grants stealth if you use it on yourself, helping again with stomping. Now, engineers lack weapon swap, so cooldowns feel really long if you don't have any kits. For this purpose, I run Flamethrower Kit and Bomb Kit, which also serve to put burning on the target and provide a little bit more control. Flame Kit gives a continuous damage auto attack, Blast on 2, a knockback on 3, a firewall on 4, and an AoE blind on your 5. Bomb Kit gives an auto attack that does decent damage. The Fire Bomb is a fire field that causes burning every tick. Concussion Bomb gives a massive 5 stacks of confusion. Smoke Bomb is a ticking blindness field. And Glue Bomb is just like your Pistol 5, where it immobilizes on impact and then cripples for every second they're in the field. For our ultimate skill, Supply Crate is the only viable option. Every engineer should run this as well. This is a team fight changer. It's an AoE 2-second stun that lasts for 60 seconds and provides one of each kind of turret. That's a Thumper turret, a Healing turret, a Net turret, a Rifle turret, a Flamethrower turret, as well as dropping bandages all around you on the ground. It's a blast finisher with a 1200 range, so if you can drop it in as you're coming onto a point, from high ground even. Stun everybody. Everybody now has more things to click on, more things to target, more things to avoid, the flame turret and the Thumper turret. And it does a massive amount of damage with all the turrets combined. It can really turn a team fight around at midpoint. Next for traits. This build takes a smattering of skills from across all the lines, which work together to create a mobile, sustainable damage dealer. In firearms, 6 points, gives you Napalm Specialist, increasing burn time, Juggernaut, giving you toughness while wielding a flamethrower, and Might every 3 seconds for 18 seconds, so you get a total of 6 stacks off of it. And Fire Forge Trigger, reducing cooldown on flamethrower skills. All 3 of these buff burns in the flamethrower kit, but if you find that you don't use the flame kit that much, you can swap out the adept tier trait for basically anything else in the tier. They're all useful in some way. I like Infused Precision because it gives you even more mobility, or Hair Trigger for cooldown, just so you can abuse the pistol even more. In Inventions, we take Stabilized Armor because Hambo Warriors are a cancer that will not be cured without a major overhaul of SPVP. The 20% reduction can and will save you from Hambo Warriors knockdown combo, Thieves with Basilisk Venom, DD LE Bunkers, and anything else that locks you down and blows you up. Also, the low health response system is kind of nice. It gives you regeneration when you hit low health. It saved my life more than once. In Alchemy, we take Backpack Regenerator and Invigorating Speed, giving you health regen while using a kit, which we'll be doing all the time, and basically 100% uptime on Vigor, which is very important in SPVP for dodge rolls. Tools, we put points in solely for speedy kits, which gives you 100% uptime on Swiftness if you know what 13 seconds feels like. The Swiftness lasts 12 seconds. You have a little bit of condition wound duration on yourself, so that goes up to 13. And you're going to be swapping kits since they're on no cooldown whatsoever. You can drop them and immediately pick them back up if you want. You can, as you're leaving the base, just equip your bomb kit or your flamethrower kit. Run out, get the point 33% faster, and then switch back to whatever kit you're actually going to use. This swiftness also procs the vigor from invigorating speed, which contributes towards that's uptime. All in all, you are very mobile, and Backpack Regenerator Key will do a surprising amount of healing. For gear, I use Rabbit Amulet with Balthazar runes, giving this build its name. Rabbit is the ideal combination of stats for Condi dealers, with precision to give more crits for bonus effects like Sigil of Earth, toughness to increase your effective health. Remember, toughness is an order of magnitude more effective than vitality for most classes, and a fuckload of condition damage. This build features 1407 condition damage, which makes your dots hit a whole bunch harder. Balthazar runes give all-around good bonuses to condition damage, and some additional burning duration to ensure 100% uptime. For sigils, I take Sigil of Doom and Sigil of Earth, which both provide more condition cover on short internal cooldowns. Remember, the more conditions you apply, especially if they're short duration ones, the harder it is to remove them, and the closer you get to dealing true damage. Math. Alright. Since this build is focused on it, let's talk condition damage. Conditions do a fixed amount of base damage per stack per second, if stacking, and have a bonus damage ratio that uses your condition damage stat. Now, the damage dealing conditions we apply are Burning, Bleeding, Poison, and Confusion. Burning has a base of 328 damage per second and a ratio of 0.25, meaning it takes 25% of your condition damage as extra damage per second. Bleeding has a base of 42.5 per stack per second and a ratio of 0.05. Poison has a base of 84 and a ratio of 0.1, and Confusion has a base of 130 and a ratio of 0.15 per stack per skill use. Burning we can apply on the first 3 hits for 5.25 seconds apiece with Incendiary Ammo, or F3 skill, and it gets applied only a few seconds later for an additional 10.75 seconds with Blowtorch. This means that in our standard 20-second burst it has 100% uptime. Even if the target cleanses it, we have Flamethrower skills, which have Burning, Blast, Extending Burning, and Bomb 2 skill, which provides a fire field causing burning every tick, as well as the healing skill with Balthazar runes. Burning with our 1407 condition damage deals 679.75 damage per second 100% of the time. Now, Bleeding causes 42.5 base plus 0.05 times 1407 equals 112.85 damage per second. Bleeding's actually a trickier one to count, though, because of Sigil of Earth's contribution. Sigil of Earth. 60% chance on critical to cause 5 seconds of bleeding with a 2-second internal cooldown. And also Sharpshooter, a minor trait in the firearms line. Sharpshooter gives the same thing, basically 33% chance on crit to cause bleeding for 3 seconds with no internal cooldown. For mathematical purposes, let's count the average number of hits in a 20-second window. On average, during real combat, I had 1.3 hits per second. For our 20-second burst, 26 hits sounds reasonable. Of those, 49% are crits, and 60% of those crits cause bleeding for 5 seconds from Sigil of Earth, and 33% cause 3 seconds of bleeding from traits, 38.22 seconds of bleeding from Sigil of Earth, 12.6 seconds of bleeding from Sharpshooter, and 5 hits of the pistol auto attack, Fragmentation Shot, for 2 seconds each for 10 seconds of bleeding there. Now we can count all of the time for bleeding above 20 seconds, since it's not actually 60 whatever seconds, it's all stacked on top of itself. It's like an average of 3 stacks all the time for 20 seconds. So the total is 60.82 stack seconds of bleeding over 20 seconds of actual time. Poison is also a fun one. While counting hits, I counted kit swaps as well, because they proc Sigil of Doom for 6 seconds of poison. Weapon swap, your next attack after weapon swap inflicts 6 seconds of poison. That does count for engineer kit swaps, since they don't have a weapon swap, and elementalist attunement swaps. So Poison Dart Volley also gives 10 seconds of bleeding, but you can't really expect to hit all 5 shots of that, maybe 4 for 8 seconds of dot time. However, you can use that skill easily twice in 20 seconds. It's on a 10-second cooldown. So a total of 22 seconds of poison every 20 seconds real time gives 100% uptime, with a DPS of 222.7. Confusion is also a fun one to calculate, because you never really know how many skills a target will be using. In the 3 seconds that are active from the pistol 3 skill, static shot, let's say a target uses 1 skill a second. That's reasonable, even for like a warrior. 130 base plus 0.15 times 1407 per stack in PvE, halved in PvP for balance reasons, because Confusion does a lot of damage in PvE. So 2 stacks, 3 skills, Uses, 3 skill uses by the target, gives 511.5 damage from confusion per static shot application. And you can use static shot twice in 20 seconds, giving 2 times that damage for 1023 per 20 seconds. Total condition damage then is burning plus bleeding plus poison plus confusion. 25,935.5 damage in total. This damage is not reducible by armor or toughness or protection buff, so that damage is a real number. Not including a target's self-healing, and if they don't cleanse anything, this number is how much theoretical health they will be missing. That's a lot. That's like a lot. This build has only 17,182 health, but no vitality build, with only a few condition cleanses, so this build could kill this build with conditions, without too much trouble, I think. Remember, that also doesn't count the direct damage from Fragmentation Shot, which is low, or Poison Dart also low, Static Shot also low, but they all do a little bit of damage. So does Blowtorch. This is also not counting any other direct damage they may be suffering, like Flamethrower Auto Attack, which does a surprising amount of damage, about 1,000 per Flame Jet, in my experience, and the Bombs, which do like 500 to 600 per explosion if there's no buffs on them. Alright, so this is the Balthazar Engineer coming onto midpoint in Legacy of the Profile. We start out just dumping some conditions on this person. I get immobilized, but that's okay, I like going into the fight anyway. This one melts to conditions, even though he cleanses himself twice. I drop my healing skill to keep myself alive, switch to Flamethrower Kit, switch to Bomb Kit, see what happens. We get some damage out on teammates, and I decide, my teammates got that handled, so I head to Close Point, which is under attack. I see an Elementalist, who is using Staff, so you know that he's not going to be able to take you very long if you don't stay still. He tries to lock you down, but I decide that getting stunned is worth taking some damage. Coming onto the point, I see this the enemy engineer's supply drop down, so I drop my own on top just to mess things up. Glue Puddle plus putting conditions on this person, that engineer has 100% burn time. That burn time will not fall off without a cleanse. The Elementalist backs off, so I try and get out of range of her fire and greatsword abilities. There's a ranger that shows up and starts blowing me up, so I try and break line of sight. Putting conditions on him. The main flaw here is that I didn't focus. You see, I get knocked down. I eventually do get back up with the help of a teammate, but focusing is really a key point in team fights for this build. You find who everybody else is attacking. In this one, Skyhammer, I am defending point B to midpoint right at the beginning of the game, and we have a couple of teammates on, but I hear that the Skyhammer got attuned to us, so I can expect a shot here. So all I do is evade until the shot lands, and then get back on the point and try and capture it. You can see that we're still doing condition damage with bombs and bleeds and burns on that Elementalist out there. There's a ranger shooting at us from the point over there, so I take cover, heal up, fire again, pop out, keep firing, put the condition down. Defending the point. I do chase down this Mesmer, but I decide, not worth it. And then run back. Later that match, attacking the far point, enemy controlled, it's 2v2. This is what this Balthazar engineer is designed for, is for assaulting far point, native far point. I use bombs to get the people off the point, and then me and my teammate down the Elementalist. Now he makes a mistake here. He goes off the point while he's down, because you can still capture points while you're down. So he should have stayed on the point to help decap it. I actually managed to dodge Skyhammer this time, and this warrior comes in, who quickly goes down to the Mesmer that I was working with and my conditions. You see conditions on him, I just let him bleed out, basically. Trying my hardest to dodge the Skyhammer shots. If you time your dodge rolls right, right as the edge of the Earth ring reaches the edge of the indicator ring for the Skyhammer, that's when the shot lands, or very shortly after. So if you dodge right as that Earth ring touches the red ring, you'll dodge the shot. I get cocky here and get shot for it. And we got another friend, the same Elementalist. Rezzed and came back. So get out of the indicator, since I didn't know I'd be able to dodge the Skyhammer landing. He drops one Meteor Storm. I see another Skyhammer shot incoming, so nope, not having any of that. Keep putting conditions on him. he's cleansing himself as fast as he can, but it's not going to be fast enough. And ready, dodge roll again. Dodge roll back into point, keep capturing it. He blows me away. He also made another mistake there. He tried to blow me away with his staff lightning 3 into that pit, but he put up a lightning field around me, so I got stunned on the edge of it. We then kill him on the outside of the point, right after he drops a Meteor Storm, which does okay damage to me. I don't like it because of its randomness, but I do respect how much damage it can do. Here I am evading, just trying to get my freaking cooldowns back, and get rid of this Mesmer. And me and my teammates do destroy the Mesmer, and I think this is a Guardian, maybe a Warrior. So using AoE skills to try and keep them off point and keep them suppressed with the Stomp. And they go away, get stealth. And I do make a mistake here. I should have let him just bleed out and stayed on the point myself. This big old bomb blew him off point. I could have just shot him with my pistol, but I go and stop him anyway. Now, another one this game, back at point B, this is fairly shortly after that, I'm setting AoE skills to keep them off point, trying to decap it for our team so that we can get some points or keep them, prevent them from getting points. Now keep in mind that PB AoEs do work regardless of elevation, so while he was standing on the corner there and I dropped bombs underneath him, they actually clipped him. This Elementalist dies because he did the right thing, came back on point, but he still died. He was going to die anyways, so we might as well have saved those extra couple seconds of time. So now I see this Hambo Warrior that's been pissing me off all game, up behind me, up on the ledge, and you think you're so fucking fancy, using a longbow from up there. Guess what? Bump off the edge. That's a kill. This Mesmer comes in right as I get my rampage, and me and two teammates just blow him up. Mesmers are good, but they have a hard time capturing points or decapping points because of the stealth element that they often use, since Prismatic Understanding Mesmer is still the most common Mesmer build despite its nerfs, which were kind of indirect nerfs. They didn't actually directly nerf anything except the boons you get from Prismatic Understanding. But the problem still remains. They can't decap points very well. Alright, for another team fight, this is on Kylo. I've been assigned to the clock tower for most of the game. I occasionally go to far to help Cap when we had a thief that was capturing it. You see in team fight here, I lay down big ol' bomb and it does quite a good job. I see my teammate about to get stomped, so I poison his attacker so he cannot pick himself up. Poison basically guarantees you can't pick yourself up. I res him, and I think he's almost rezzed, and he takes a little bit more damage, which it wasn't quite there. So I tried to heal him up and it failed. Blow that up, but this ranger, I don't know what she was doing. You see she gets conditions put on her, flamethrower, into the fight, go to stomp the Mesmer so to fake her out, and I fall pretty quick anyway. Teammate gets the stomp, and that's the end of that. I don't know, we still chase people down with burning and conditions and bleeding. You see he's got bleeding from my flamethrower crits, confusion from the Mesmer, and we just mess this guy up. Same game later on. I'm coming back into the team fight, into the midpoint. I've either been dead or at close point defending. And you see, you just want to get into that team fight and see what you can do. So I start putting out as much AoE damage as possible. That's where the Engineer really shines, is in AoE team fights. Because even the pistol auto attack has a small AoE that applies bleeding. Flamethrower, all AoE. Bombs, all AoE. I make a mistake here and try and single out this ranger who's been pestering me. Get outside of her and oops, bump. Yeah, I deserve that. Okay, so healing up with Regeneration, I get back into that team fight. What I want to do is get as many conditions on as many people as possible. I mean, that's ideal, right? So I start bouncing shots off the Flesh Golem, switch to Flamethrower, and you want to participate in this fight. So here's the big old bomb right in the center of the point, which is a very useful bump. You can knock the entire team away from a point if they're team fighting on it. And that is really where the Engineer shines, in a 3v3 team fight, or a 2v2 maybe. Ideally a 4v4, because you're tanky enough to not get blown up immediately, with the toughness you have from Rabid and the leather armor, medium armor. And you have enough AoE knockbacks with the Flamethrower 3 big ol' bomb, and tons of AoE condition damage with your bomb kit, to survive in team fights and really contribute to fights. And I personally believe that without me here this fight, we would have lost it. Just because my condition damage did so nice against them. And that's really the engineer's strength, is team fight. In overview, this is the Balthazar Engineer Utility SBVP build. The build's posted below. It has a survivability rating of 4,647, a crit damage modifier of 1.275, with 926 power and 1407 condition damage. It excels in team fights, particularly against melee classes. Thanks for watching, like and subscribe below.